Hi, I'm Sarah from the upcoming. So lovely to chat to you, Stephanie.
You too. Thanks for being here.
Maybe you could just kick off by telling us a bit about this short film, Let's Be Tigers.
Yeah, it's called Let's Be Tigers, and it's about a young woman who goes to take care of a 4-year-old right after her mother has passed away, and she thinks she's going to have fun and forget about her sadness. But instead, she's forced to share that sadness with the kid, and she's reminded what's so beautiful about living.
And what an opportunity to be selected amongst, from over 1,000 entries into this small group of filmmakers given this opportunity by Disney. So, what made you want to participate and what did it mean to you to be chosen?
Oh man, it's so cool. It's very, very cool. Um, yeah, the program I think is this really beautiful experience in so many ways. But one of the ways is that the six of us got to make these films with a big studio, at a much larger budget than we're used to working with. And at the same time, we were given so much support that it was sort of like getting to make films inside of a really supportive community. We had these wonderful people who started the program. We were given mentors who were all inside of the Disney family. Mine was this guy, Grant Curtis at Marvel, who was like kind of a spirit guide to me as I went through the process. So if I just needed to talk about what was going on, I could just call him and say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. And I think the most unexpected part of it was that we all were given each other and we kind of fell in love really fast and started helping each other with each other's projects and just being there for one another on an experience that could have been really overwhelming and really, kind of crazy to make a studio film. And instead, it was almost like a team sport to be together in this process. So I loved every second of it. I just had the best time, and I think we all did.
And what made you settle on this particular story? Because each of them's obviously tackling a few issues, about identity or about specific problems that, people in America might be facing today. So what made you land on this particular story and what did you want to say with your film?
Yeah, so when I was writing it, my Zadie, which is my grandfather, he was turning 100, and my parents were turning 70, and my nephew was turning 4. And I was thinking about sort of the passing of the baton of life. And I actually was a babysitter, and I babysat a little kid when I was in my early 20s who was about 4. And he was really wonderful, just like an incredible kid. But one day he started shooting me dead with his little finger gun. And I wasn't sure what to say. I'm not his parents, but I said, do you know what that means? And he said, no. And I said, well, if I was dead, I wouldn't be here anymore. I wouldn't be able to see you. And he got sad. And, I think the biggest tragedy that everyone is going to face is that, and I know this is heavy, but we're all going to die, and everybody we know is going to die. And we're going to go through these sad and difficult times. So how do we talk about that in our culture, and how do we share about that, and how do we talk to children about that, and how do we be honest with children about difficult things? And in like a more personal way, I'm the child of a therapist, and I'm really good at listening, but I'm not so good at sharing. So I think the film is really a reminder to me and anybody who needs it that the act of sharing our pain, our vulnerability, feelings of being unwanted, unloved, unheard, uncared for, like that actually brings you back into the world. That actually reminds you what's fun about living. And I think that's what the film's about, being
And
brave.
just quickly, what do you think the role is of a platform like Disney to be able to kind of open up the kinds of issues that can be dealt with on their programs?
Well, they have just a bazillion followers, a bazillion people who watch their films. So, it's such a big platform to share really difficult stories, which I think is what all six of us managed to do, share something very personal and difficult. And I think all of that reminds everybody, what a beautiful thing to come together around, to remember that you're not alone in those difficult feelings.
I think I'm out of time, but it was such a pleasure to speak to you. And thanks so much for this beautiful film, Let's Be Tigers.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Cheers, Stephanie.